that Thailand has launched Yuttha Bodin in response to clashes with Cambodian forces along the border. Yuttha Bodin translates to the utmost battle for the defense of the land. As per Thailand's 2nd Army Area Command, the tank units have advanced, engaging in an assault to secure the same Thai area, and reciprocal attacks are going on in Chong Chom. So it does seem, Pramit, as we're having this conversation, that there is now a deeper and deeper severe escalation in a traditionally peaceful region like South Asia. Does that signal a worrying global trend where even stable areas are now becoming more and more prone to interstate conflict?
Well, Thailand and Cambodia, while they've had a long-standing issues on their border, they generally don't fight over them. The Priya Vihar incident, for example, was a small one. It passed. Now, however, a new temple, the Tam Wen Tom, is now the basis of the present dispute. But it really reflects, I would argue, the weakness of the domestic political situation. While outwardly stable, both countries are having major domestic issues. Hun Manet, the present leader of Cambodia, the son of Hun Sen, the famous previous leader of Cambodia, dictator, still in many ways the father still controls the country, is facing major economic headwinds, thanks largely, in fact, to President Trump's tariff policy, which potentially will cripple Cambodia's economy, which is largely dependent on exports to the United States. But Cambodia is geopolitically aligned with China, so it has very few friends in Washington. On the other side, of course, as Thailand has had a long-standing, continuing dispute between the military and the monarchists on one side, and the government of the Shinawatra family, in which present Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, the daughter of the original Shinawatra, Thaksin Shinawatra, is presently the leader. She, it seems, tried to get an agreement with Hun Manet. They had a conversation where she complained about her own military, but that conversation was then leaked to the public, possibly by the Cambodians themselves, triggering a domestic crisis. Obviously, a prime minister who badmouths her own generals to a foreign leader immediately runs into a problem on the nationalist side. So it looks like the Cambodians were prepared to trigger an internal crisis within Thailand for their own domestic political reasons. And in problem for Shinawatra is that she is already facing major problems anyway with her own military, and in fact is presently being suspended as prime minister by the courts. So you have effectively two weak domestic internal situations in which at least one faction on both sides wants to use a nationalist crisis to establish their domestic preeminence. In fact, Thailand, though much larger a country, much more powerful military, at least on paper, though in many ways Cambodia is much more powerful, is actually a more experienced military fighting nation. Its government is effectively in paralysis. Now there are rumors of a military coup potential, especially Shinawatra being blamed for this present crisis and being seen as effectively a fifth columnist against her own country. She has publicly apologized a dozen times already for her conversation with Hun Manet. But while I think my company, Eurasia Group, we don't think a coup is likely, it is, however, a true situation that this crisis, which is otherwise very minor in many ways, could potentially continue to spin for quite some time, simply because of the lack of a strong domestic political situation in either country.